Hey y'all, back again for another episode of State of the Build here on the Peak Auto YouTube channel. I'm Emily Reeves and I'm excited for this episode because we get to spice it up with some supercar stuff. Yep, we're going to be visiting with our buddy Freddie, better known as Tavarish from YouTube. He is building a really stellar McLaren 675LT. You guys got to see this. Well, you probably already have because he has over 1 million subs and averages millions of views. Anyway, we should get to it. What's going on, Tavarish? We're so excited. That's gonna be annoying. What's happening, Tavarish? Man, we're so excited to hear about the 675LT McLaren, or McNugget as you call it. I think that's hilarious. Really stoked to get the plan for this car because, man, that thing is a beast, and a rare one at that, right?
Hey Emily, thank you so much for allowing me to join you and allowing me to share with you my McLaren. This, for those in your audience that don't know, is the most insane project I've ever undertaken. Certainly the most expensive. This is a 2016 McLaren 675LT, and they only made 500 in the world. Now, it has 675 metric horsepower. It's a mid-engined, rear-wheel drive V8 twin-turbo beast. I've always loved these cars. They're supposed to be like a track-focused McLaren, but I never thought I'd be able to afford it. But thankfully, somebody made this affordable because this one was crashed. Now, this was crashed about 3 years ago, and I decided to take on this project about a year ago, and I had to replace everything, like the rear subframe, the front subframe, a bunch of stuff on the engine, just too much stuff to list. But that is why this is a McNugget, because, I mean, just look at it. It's a nugget.
Nutty. More like the golden nugget because it's worth so much money. Oh my gosh, dude. You've spent bank getting that car, even to where it is right now. When does it get body panels? Do you already have those on the shelf, or are those yet to be purchased? Holy moly. So I watched the initial crank up video. That thing revs like nobody's business.
Yeah, actually, when this thing started up and started smoking out my entire shop, I was very surprised at how fast it revved. That is because it has a flat plane crank and it has a weird transmission. It's all dual clutch, and it's way too new for me. I'm used to the older stuff where you have a clutch that makes sense, a transmission that makes sense, but this is all kind of computerish gobbledygook. Hopefully it all works. Now, the body panels are going on in, I'd say, another week or two, because I'm having them restored at a carbon fiber shop because, of course, all the body panels, at least the ones back here, are all carbon fiber, and they were damaged in the crash. Now, what's interesting is that over here, all the body panels are just glued on. There's literally just panel bond holding this onto the car, which is interesting when you consider that this car, when it was brand new, was like $400,000. Now, I do have some interesting body panels right here. I'm using a car as a shelf. So we have a front splitter right here. I got that brand new. I got a rear bumper. Everything is like super light. And this is one of the most, if not the most, rare part I've ever seen. This is the last roof scoop from McLaren that I believe is in the world. I don't think they're making any more roof scoops like this. I was very lucky to get it, and I don't know how I'm gonna put it on. I think I'm just gonna have to glue it like they did from the factory, but this was it was expensive, but I think it's gonna make the car because this is an actual functional roof scoop, like air goes in and gets fed to the engine. I'm really excited about that.
I guess that's why they call it panel bond. It makes sense to me because you think about like body panels like on our Bronco, it's all bolted on. There's a bolt and a washer and a nut, and that's all weight, right? And you've already invested all this money in a carbon fiber body. Why would you put bolts on it? Really sick. Well, the panels, most of the panels being in the body shop, leads me to the question, I wonder if they're going to come back a custom color.
I'm really glad you asked that because There are a few steps before this gets paint on it, but I do want to make a custom color. Now, when I got this car, it was Delta Red, which is like a red-orange, and it looks good on this car, but I think I could do a little bit better. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make my own color based on a Mexico blue. So if anyone doesn't know what Mexico blue looks like, it's a very deep but light blue, and Porsche made it popular back in the 80s and 90s, and I think it looks really cool, especially on this, especially with a lot of carbon fiber accents. So it's going to be in that color, but before that, I have to put all the panels on, and hopefully everything fits, because that's going to take a few days. And then when I have the panels all on and glued, then this entire thing goes to the body shop, and then they paint it that custom color, and then it comes back and the car is done, and there's no other issues that can arise from that. I'm certain of that.
Oh yeah, I'm sure it'll be a breeze. No problems will arise. I'm certain of it. Oh my gosh, dude. That color sounds really cool. I say dude too much. Excited to see that. So I assume we're gonna be doing some engine mods. What about that? I know you haven't driven it yet. Are you gonna drive it first and then mod it, or is it already modded? What's the plan? It's a twin turbo V8, right? I know it sounds amazing.
So fun fact, these cars don't usually get modded all that much. Now, I know that there are cars with more horsepower, but they're usually 650Ss, MP412Cs, or 570Ss. Those are the more, I guess, regular McLarens. I mean, all McLarens are special, but those are more regular. I guess it's because they only made 500 of these that you don't see these with a lot of modification. However, I have modded this one already, and I don't know if you can see it. Actually, you definitely can't see it, but in here is the turbo, and that's one side of the engine, so we have two turbos, and I have made those turbos a little bit bigger. So now they can handle around 26 PSI. The stock turbos can handle around 22 PSI, which means that in the top end, this will make a little bit more power, hopefully around 800 horsepower when I'm done with it. And I'm also doing a custom exhaust. The exhaust right here, it's made of titanium, and it's all at the top, which is really, really cool. But I'm gonna make a custom one that sounds a little bit more exotic. I really like a high-pitched F1 wail that a lot of Ferraris have, some Lamborghinis have that. McLarens definitely don't have that. They actually sound kind of normal by exotic car standards, so I'm gonna do that. Also, I'm gonna do some maybe custom wheels. I really like the look of the Le Mans race car, like the F1 LM. Those are just kind of the end-all be-all for McLarens, for me at least, and I want to have those 5 spokes on here at least eventually. But for now, to get the car rolling, I'm just going to have a stock set of wheels, which I have to have imported from UK, because the wheels that I had on here, obviously in the accident, were all bent. So that's all that's all well and good and not expensive at all. It's very expensive.
I think 800 horse in that car will be like a freaking rocket ship. It's gonna be amazing. Okay, so 800 horse. We're going with the Mexican blue, or your variant of it. Custom wheels. Okay, so what's the plan with the car once you get it finished? Are you gonna flip it? I mean, how could you get rid of something that you put so much love into? Or do you have other plans for it?
So as far as plans for this car, I don't really know what I'm going to do, except for a few things. Number one, I am going to keep this car because I don't think it's going to be worth really what I'm putting into it, but I've always loved the way these cars look. I think this is the best looking McLaren next to the McLaren P1 and F1. I love the look of these cars, and I know it doesn't look like it now, but I hope it's going to look a lot better. And I have a sort of goal in mind with this project. I want to make this the fastest 675LT, and that means putting this car into the 9s in the quarter mile. Now, these cars are track cars, mainly like a circuit track or a road course. They're not really meant for the quarter mile, but I think that this car is enough of a jack of all trades that it could definitely get that done, especially with the power that I'm going to be putting out. So hopefully I get that done. Fingers crossed.
I think you can do it. I have all the faith in you. and you have roughly 1 million people ready to back you. And even if, you know, half of them are haters, that's still energy in your direction. You got this. Oh my goodness, that is so rad. I can't thank you enough for taking the time to make these videos back and forth with me. Huge love from Flying Sparks Garage and from Peak, and you rock, dude. Cannot wait to see this build unfold.
Well, thank you, Emily, for asking me all the questions and allowing me to share all of this with you. And I'd like to thank Flying Sparks Garage and Peak for letting us do this. Usually in my videos, I tell everybody to build it better and to do that wrench every day. So I'll offer the same thing to you. Build it better and wrench every day. See ya.
That is such an awesome outro. Did you guys enjoy that episode? I thought it was so cool. I loved seeing his McLaren and especially seeing it down to bare bones like that. When do you get to see a McLaren completely naked like that? That's pretty wild. As I always say, we appreciate you guys watching so much. We look forward to reading your comments and suggestions as to who you want to see on the next episode. And we've got an awesome year ahead of 2 episodes a month of this series, Behind the Build. I am having a blast shooting it and producing it, and we appreciate you guys liking and subscribing in addition to dropping us a comment. We look forward to seeing you next time. Until then, later.